Veruscawalker and welcome to my channel. As you can see here, I have one of my most requested videos, the hat cake. I get so many requests to show how I make my hats. So on this video, I will show you all the tips, all the tricks to create this beautiful masterpiece of cake. It's a super easy structure. I'm going to break this down super easy for you. Cheap materials that you can get anywhere. And the most important is using your creativity. You can create any type and shape of cakes. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to follow us, leave your feedback and share my videos. Hashtag me if you recreate one of the cakes. I love to see what you are creating at home. And please leave your suggestions, what you would like to see next. Enjoy the video! Okay, so here we have the basic materials we need to construct this structure for our cake. So I'm gonna start with some wood dowels. This is very important. I get a very thick one, the 22 millimeters. But if it is a little bit too hard for you to get your wood dowel, you can just get a wood broom dowel or a rack, something cheap. That will be perfect. It's really strong and large to support the weight of our cake. Then you're gonna need lots of boards with different sizes. So because I really like to create this pedestal with lots of different sizes wood, so I just think it just gives a more glamorous look to the hat. But of course you can leave it just in one board. That is not a problem. You can use little coasters. You can use your normal silver boards, wood boards. They are fine. It just has to be wood. It can't be cardboard. It has to be wood because it's gonna be a lot of weight in here to support the weight of the cake. So a little coasters like that. So now that we decide already on the size of our boards, we have to hot glue that. So I found it easy to hot glue the little board in position, right there in the middle, or as close as possible. So here you have two options. You can hot glue this to this board, and then we gonna make the hole. So you can glue and we drill the hole, but the hole can't go all the way, only half away. That's why I found it easy to hot glue the two first boards and drill all the way. Then I can hot glue in here. So then I have the perfect structure for this cake. And now we're gonna glue this to this structure. So I'm going to pre-drill in here on the middle of this board, so I know exactly where the middle is. And also on my dowel, to what I have, it's not necessary, you don't have to do that. I'm going to cut an angle. You can have your head straight, that is not a problem, but I'm going to cut a little bit on angle because I really love the more romantic side of the cake in a little bit of a slope like you see in here. Or you can sand too. That's what I usually do. I put on my sander and I sand just a little bit on the angle. And I'm going to pre-drill the bottom, and that's very important because then when you screw from behind the board, it doesn't split the wood. And this also is not necessary, but I always do this. I always take a little bit of the bottle and literally it's only a little bit, so the head of my screw stays flush with the board, and that avoids my screw from being scratching tables, because believe me, you don't want your customer complaining that the board scratched the table. So I always do that too. Put a little bit of glue inside of the structure. Put your wood dowel inside and screw it to the bottom. It's a super strong structure and it will support a lot of weight. There's no way that this wood dowel will move anywhere. It's flashy. You can even put a stick tape there. Put a piece of stick tape there, or you can even glue a no slip mat on the bottom of my board, and that stops the board from moving around. And for transportation is also really good, because you know that your board will not move around. So it's a really good idea. Also, not only is protecting your screw from scratching the table, but it's stopping the cake from moving around. This amazing structure, can guarantee it will support a lot of weight for our cake. And now you can decide if you wanted to cover this with fondant or if you wanted to spray paint. So now for the second part of our structure, we have already our base ready. So now we're gonna add the platform where we're gonna build our cake. So I'm just gonna get a 7-inch cake board, because most of the cakes I'm going to work with are 7-inch. And I need to find the center of the board, and we need to drill the space for the wood down to be inside there. As simple as that. Because it's in a little bit of an angle, I always push a little bit my drill bit so I can get a little bit of angle also on my hole in here. So after you've done that, we also need to pre-drill our structure in here. And I'm going to hot glue, put some glue in here, and put on our structure, and I'm going to screw on the top. I really like to use these screws with the big head, because it really keeps this board in position. Otherwise you're gonna have to use some washers. So now it's time for the fun part, that it is to make our lapel. And there is so many ways to make, but first we're gonna talk about the materials we use to make this lapel. So you can use cardboard, very thick cardboard, pasta board, 600 grams. So this is a very thick cardboard, so you can use the cardboard. And it has lots of different colors too. Black, this beautiful black board, 600 grams. So if most of the time I like to already start with the black one. So the cardboard is a super cheap and easy way to do. The problem with cardboard is it reacts with humidity. So if it is a very humid day and it is raining, your cardboard maybe get a little bit softer, and it will change a little bit of the shape of your lapel. But another alternative that I like very much is these plastic sheets, and you can get in lots of different colors. They plastic, very thick plastic, or you can even use the placemats. There's some placemats that it has this plastic, because it doesn't matter the color, because we're gonna cover with fondant anyway. So they are a great alternative to make our lapel. I usually use a placemat as a size, a 13 inch. So 33 centimeters, 13 inch as a size guide for all my heads almost. So you basically gonna trace on your plastic or in the cardboard, it's up to you. And then we're gonna cut with the scissors. If you don't have a placemat, you can also use lids. Find a really big lid that you have in home and just use that. Okay, so now that we have all our plastics or our cardboard cut, we have to find the center and cut the center. And I do that because when you cut the inside of your head, you change the shape of your lapel. So then I can give a personality and movement to my head. So we have to find the center, and of course in here I'm going to just do by eye with my scissors. A little zigzag because we need this to glue to our structure. And you need to have a lot of tips because when you put fondant on that, it gets really heavy. So I also score with the stainless knife. Very light. Because it just makes it easy for you to bend right where you're supposed to bend. Right? So now with the black one you can see better what I'm saying. So if I could put it just straight, and then the cake it goes on top in here, and that is fine. It looks beautiful too, just like that. Or of course we can give a little bit more personality and we can change the angle, so then you have a more angle head. We can also change, like I said to you, the lapel, and we could fold and you give this kind of a personality to the head. So depends on how the angle you give it on your cardboard or your plastic, it will change the way the head looks and the design. And then we're gonna hot glue this to the structure. So we hot glue this to the structure so we can put a fondant on it. There is two ways. You can put on top, and then when we come to our cake, we glue the board with our cake in here. I really like it this way, and the reason why I prefer this way is because you don't see nothing at the bottom of the structure. So the structure will be nice and clean and perfect at the bottom. But it really doesn't matter the order. If you want to hot glue this at the bottom of your structure like that, it will be just fine too. You're gonna see a little bit of the design underneath. But that is our biggest secret. So with the cardboard, it's super easy to fold like you saw. The only problem is the cardboard will absorb a lot of moisture. So if you have moisture on the air, the cardboard will absorb that, and it may change the shape of your head and create a more realistic design on the head. This is one option. I'm going to show you other ways, different ways to change the shape of your head. But this is a very common type of heads that you see. You see straight ones, or you see a little bit bent, a rolling pin, and you can give it a little bit more personality to your head and change. Sometimes I even get my steamer, and I put the steamer against the cardboard paper, so it will give it a little bit more personality. So for instance, here, this is going down, but then you could have this going a little bit up. I did have some hats on my display with the cardboard, and they all, every time that it rained, they used to change shape, but some got really nice, actually, a very nice wave shape. But the plastic, the good bit is you can put a lot of glue on top to attach the fondant, and the plastic doesn't react with humidity. But it's a little bit more complicated to fold, so or you just want a little bit of a flare, like you're going up a little bit in one side. All you have to do, warm up some of the section. So to change a little bit the shape of the plastic. And that happening super natural. You can do it with your hands and just warm up a little bit, and then you can change the shape, whatever is the design that you desire. So you see, I can hot glue this there under the structure, and if I wanted to twist this, a little bit more flair to your cake. So either way, if you want to put on the bottom of the structure. So as you can see here on this magician hat, and also on my witch hat, I use this technique. I bend one of the sides, I really bend one of the sides, and I fold a little bit on the other side. And with the cowboy hat, you can see that I bend both sides. So now that we already know all the tips and the tricks how to make your lapel, so now we're gonna move to the cake and all the different shapes that you can achieve to create a really nice hat for this super easy structure. All you have to do is hot glue to your cake stand or your structure. Super easy. For these two Victorian cakes that I'm showing for you in here on the video, I chose very simple shapes of cake, and we are working with a half a ball and a 7-inch round cake. It's super simple. I just ganache. You can cut in many layers as you wish, and I ganache and refrigerate. As always, the outside I ganache with a 3x1 because that gives me a very nice and hard canvas to work with. In fact, that 7-inch that I use for one of the Victorian cakes is the same size I use for the cowboy hat, and the only difference on the cowboy hat, I took a little bit of the top on the sides. So now it's time to cover our cakes with fondant and our brim or lapel. And as like I show you, you have the option to cover before you attach to the stand, the cake stand, or you can cover on a stand. And I'm going to cover all the cakes. there's a little tricky technique I use when I hot glue the cakes to my cake stand. If I have too much space between the cake and the structure, my brim or lapel, if I have too much space, I make a ganji, just mixing a little bit of water to your fondant and to get to a really soft point, and you can just pipe around your cake, and that will close the gap between your cake and stand, your structure. Little bit. This is not really necessary, of course, but because I always tend to use lighter colors to cover my cakes, I always come back here and do a little bit of airbrush just to add some dimension to my cakes and to clean up too, because if there is any leftover of icing sugar, I can clean. That's a great opportunity to just give it a nice shine and clean my cake. Then it comes the fun part, decorating the cake, and I went to my local spotlight and I found everything I needed to decorate this cake. Fascinators, they have the flowers, they have all the tulies and meshes and feathers, everything you need to decorate your hat. In fact, you can buy a whole fascinator already made and you put in your hat. And I really love this idea of using a fascinator, because I think that after the party, after they cut in the cake, you can keep this as a memory, a moment from that celebration, and reuse maybe one day. So I had a lot of fun here, and as always I like to add the little mesh or the tulle under my cake just to give a more romantic look to my cakes. And you can decorate a whole table with masks, or make a bag, a cake bag, or a shoe that you can find in my book. All the step-by-step how to make a bag and a shoe is on my book. And you can make this as fun and beautiful as you want. And to cut, because I know you're gonna ask me, how do you cut this cake? It's super easy. You can take the decorations first, if you prefer, and then cut your cake right on the top of the stand. No mess, it's super easy. So I really hope you enjoyed this video and learned lots. For next video, I want to share with you how to make these super cool mugs, chocolate mugs for Christmas. And I'm going to show you a lot of tricks on how to make your own mold using all textures that we have around the house to look like nice and cozy winter. Not that it's cold here in Australia, but I really hope you stay tuned. So don't forget to press the bell so you get notified when I release new videos. And don't forget my book. Head to my website, veruscawalker.com. Thank you so much for your support.